Hello, it's Untitled Chapter here, Chris from Motolegends. Here today I want to talk to you about our favourite leather jacket brand. It's a French company called Helstons. Some of you may not have heard of them. They've been around for quite a while. In the 70s. They were the Gallic equivalent, I suppose, of our own Lewis Leathers, but their evolution has been very different since then, whereas Lewis Leathers, who make fine jackets, are more these days about motorcycling fashion and are very targeted at the classic café racer section. Helstons have gone in a different direction. Their gear still got a bit of a café racer bent, but far more technical. Their jackets all come with full armour, including back protector. They've all got, or nearly all of them have got a waterproof membrane, thermal liners. They are all singing and dancing leather jackets. Now, we've been working with them for a couple of years, and for much of that time, the best-selling jacket has been one here that was called the Ace Vintage. It's a great jacket, lovely leather, got a nice patina to it, outsold everything else in the range 2 or 3 to 1. But we went to them about a year ago and said, we would like to do a version just for the UK market, because great jacket as it was, it did have some weaknesses. There were some things that we wanted to do to improve upon it. They said, yes, fine. So now we have a jacket in the range made to our specification called the Ace Legend, and I want to talk you through it. So, much as we loved the classic Ace Vintage, this is the jacket, the Ace Legend, that we created for us in the UK. A number of differences. First one is the leather. It's a much softer leather. This is the highest grade Italian MC leather. Nothing wrong with the leather on the Ace Vintage, but that leather is tumbled, which is basically they put it in a washing machine. It bashes about to create more of a patina, but when that happens, it dries the leather out a wee bit. This is a much more supple, much softer, nicer leather to wear. One of the other differences is that in France, the jacket has, most of their jackets have, and certainly the Ace Vintage has, a waterproof membrane. Now, a waterproof membrane is not really about the rain, because a leather jacket in the rain is pretty useless, because what's going to happen, even if you've got a waterproof membrane, leather's going to soak the rain in, it's going to get heavy, you're going to get cold. But in France, they have a windproof membrane, less for the rain, and it's more about being windproof, because they ride much deeper into the winter in the leather jackets, because the climate is better than it is here. So a lot of their jackets have a windproof membrane. We've decided here that it's more about riding in the summer. The windproof membrane would actually make this less comfortable in the summer, so we have had that removed. The other thing is we've gone for a very different treatment in terms of a thermal liner. Most Helstons jacket will come with a separate zip-in thermal liner. Now, the problem with that, it works fine, and a lot of brands do that, but it means that you in essence have two sizes of jacket. You have a jacket that works in the winter, and you have a jacket that's a different size in the summer. So if it works in the winter with the liner in, when it comes to the summer and you take the liner out, you've got a jacket that's a wee bit too big. In this jacket, what we've done, we've specified a fixed Outlast liner. Now, you may know what Outlast is. It's very high-tech stuff. It was developed for NASA. It's a temperature regulating facility. When you're hot, your heat is stored in the paraffin molecules in the membrane. It cools you down. When you're cold, the heat that has been stored up as you've been riding plays back to the body. So it's very thin, but it's very effective, and it means that we've just got one size of jacket. We think it works much better. To aid the venting when it's hot, we asked Helstons if they could create extra vents. Vents are not normally a feature of a leather jacket, but we thought it would be a nice touch if they could do that. So these two pockets are also vents. That's perforated leather there. Nice little touch here. You can see that these are what are called zip garages here. It stops the flaps, the zip talons from flying about in the wind. You also have the same down here. We have another vent, Billy, if you can show that. So you can ride the jacket with this open. So if it's really hot, leather's not the best thing to wear when it's really, really hot, but this is going to be better than most leather jackets. But can we see the lining, please? So this is the permanent Outlast lining. And as I feel it now, Billy's been wearing this for 10 minutes. I can already feel the heat in that. If Billy were to go out now, this would be much warmer than your average leather jacket. Billy, can you do it up? I want you to sit on the bike. One of the main problems that we have with leather jackets is that most companies design them as leather jackets for the streets. What that means is that when you sit on the bike, they have a waist that goes around about the height of the belt of your jeans. When you lean forward on a bike, they're too short. And that means that there's a gap that can allow cold air in. What we specified here was a much longer back. And as you can see, Billy's waistline's about here. The jacket comes down there. So this is a jacket that we designed. It looks good on the street, but we've designed it for riding. It's much better than your average leather jacket in terms of riding on the road. Other features still comes obviously with Armour as standard in the elbows. That's the elbow, that's the shoulder, that's the back. So it's a very safe jacket. It's got all the elements that you would want. We think this is the perfect leather jacket. We would think that because we designed it, but we think it does everything that you would ever want. Still looks great. It still has a bit of a patina about it. As it's worn, it's going to get beaten up. We love the look. We think it's the business. Comes in sizes from small up to 4XL. That's not a huge range, but I suppose that's because it's just for us, and we wanted to test it first and see how it went. Over time, I'm sure we will expand the size range. The Ace Vintage goes from extra small, I think, right the way up to 7XL. So a much larger range there. At a price of £480, it's not a cheap jacket by any means. We have much cheaper leather jackets here. But when we look at the quality of the leather, the Outlast, all the facilities on it, I think this is money that's well worth paying. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed listening to us talk about the Ace Legend. If you want to subscribe to our videos, there's going to be lots more coming out in the coming weeks and months, then do so on the subscribe button below. If you want to read more about the jacket, visit motolegends.com. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll talk to you soon.